Okay, so here we are again for Krsna Book, and we're reading chapter 30, Krishna's hiding from the gopis. We're on the last paragraph of the chapter. So sing the introduction. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. So who remembers what we've been reading in the last few weeks? Just to give us a little bit of a recap.
The gopis were looking for Krishna, and they realized that Srimati Radharani was with Krishna, and then Srimati Radharani, I don't know, she said something about to carry her because her feet were tied. I can't remember. And then he left her as well. So she's looking for Srimati Radharani is looking for Krishna, and then the gopis catch up with Srimati Radharani, and they're all together looking for Krishna.
Yeah, that's right. So it was actually out of pride that Srimati Radharani, she asked Krishna to carry him. And it was at that point that she climbed up to sit on Krishna's shoulder, but then Krishna disappeared. And she wondered, where's Krishna gone? And she realized that out of her pride, then she acted in that way, she lost Krishna. Yeah. And now she's lamenting about that pride that she had. And then the gopis, they sympathized with her. Initially, they were feeling a little bit jealous of her, yeah, and then they were feeling very sorry for her. Yeah, actually, they're feeling happy for her then, and then they're feeling very sorry for her after when they met her. Okay, so we can continue reading.
Can I ask a question, please, regarding pride?
Sure. Okay.
So when a devotee shares something with another devotee, which is quite personal, or maybe sort of a realization or something, so does pride come into it? Because when you say something to somebody, well, you would be proud to feel the way you do. So could you be punished for that? Or not punished, but...
Can you give an example of what you mean? You can make up an example just to illustrate the question a bit.
So if I've got, I can't think of it. So if I've got something in my mind about, I don't know, serving their lordships, and then I tell you, for example, or my dream, if I would tell you what my dream or my like a dream, if I told you what I want, if I share something that I actually think of how I want to serve their lordships.
Mm.
Or when I imagine when I'm singing a song, say, and I imagine that this is what I'm doing with them, and I tell somebody, does that, will my pride will be there a bit, because I don't think we can completely be prideless to a certain extent. I don't know. But then does that get taken away, or does your bhakti go slightly down because you've said?
So we want to get to the stage of selfless devotional service, right? So selfless, when we say selfless devotional service, we mean without pride. That is, we're serving only for Krishna's pleasure. But that's actually a very high level. So we have to perform devotional service from where we're at, yeah, which we can still do, because that's called sadhana bhakti. It's a practice of devotion. So practicing devotion is better than no devotion, and pure devotion is better than practicing devotion. So we have to start somewhere. So it's always better to start wherever you are. Even if someone thinks of Krishna in anger or out of fear, even that's considered better than, just ritualistically worshipping Krishna. This is what Narad Muni, he explains in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, that because Shishupal was envious of Krishna, he was liberated. Because Kamsa was fearful of Krishna, he was liberated. Because Hiranyakashipu was angry towards Krishna, he was liberated. Because the gopis, they were lusty towards Krishna, they were liberated. So the point was they thought of Krishna with a strong emotional attachment, and they became purified because the object of their affection, or the object of their emotion, was Krishna. So it doesn't matter how you think of Krishna, it's purifying. Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that helps. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that? We're seeing in this pastime as well, aren't we? How the gopis, they had to leave their home, they had to surrender. And when they surrendered everything, Krishna was testing them still further. Then Krishna enjoyed the Ras dance with them. And then he left them to test them further still. Yeah. And so that's where we're up to now.
Sorry, Prabhu, can I just ask you a question related to what Smita Mataji just asked? So is it, so the spiritual pride is still better than we have like sometimes material pride? Is that right way to think about it like that?
Yeah, no pride is good, essentially. So when you say material pride, what do you mean? What do you mean when you say spiritual pride?
Spiritual pride, as I think she just given an example that, sometimes we do service and we kind of talk about that, I'm doing a great service. That kind of spiritual pride. And then we get obviously pride that, like, and the material is like, sometimes, oh, I have a kind of a, we kind of boast sometimes that, we got I've got a bigger house and I got like so much kind of a money and fame or whatever. So.
Yeah. See, like the Gopas, they were very proud as well. Here in this pastime, we're reading about how the gopis are proud, isn't it? And Krishna left them. The Gopas, their pride was different, even though they were proud that Krishna was killing the demons. It says in the pastimes they were feeling very proud. They were proud because Krishna had done something great. They were connected to Krishna and they were proud, I'm connected to Krishna.
Mm.
Why? It's the underlying meaning. Why? Because Krishna is great. Yeah. So here in this pastime of the gopis, they're feeling proud because they're with Krishna, and Krishna is so attractive that with the most attractive person, Krishna means all attractive. But what was their pride? That I'm with him. You see? So they're both spiritual personalities. But you can see Krishna leaves one group, and the other group he doesn't leave, the boys. Yeah. So why are we proud? We should ask the reason why, rather than like the what. We should be asking why. Am I proud because I was given some mercy, extraordinary mercy, or am I proud because it's my own, my own doing, my own greatness? We should be happy if we get some mercy. We can share. This was such an amazing thing. It happened to me. I didn't deserve it. It was so wonderful. And we can be very quote unquote proud. Krishna gave me some causes mercy because Krishna is great. Krishna does that. Krishna is willing to do that. Actually, Krishna wants us to be happy. Otherwise, why are we here? Why are we in Krishna consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Krishna consciousness is supposed to be joyful. It's supposed to be a blissful process. So we should be happy. But it should be based on that Krishna is so great. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
So even if it's material situation, even if we get, wealth, fame, whatever it is, why? Because Krishna is so kind to me. Yeah. We're just hearing the pastime of Maharaj Ambarish in our Bhagavatam group. And he had like everything, he owned the whole planet. He was the king of the whole planet. And then Durvas Muni came to him thinking he was just like, some, heavy materialistic guy. But his only thought was like, I'm just Krishna's caretaker. He was always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. He was just so grateful that Krishna had given him so much service to do. Right? So material and spiritual isn't so much of a distinction as much as who we proud for. We're proud that Krishna has given us, and Krishna has given, Krishna has been merciful to us because Krishna is so great. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So we want to try and synergize our life. We don't want to think that this is my material life and this is my spiritual life. Actually, we want to think everything is connected to Krishna. Yeah. We want to try and get into that mind frame. That this is Krishna's home, this is Krishna's car, this is Krishna's property. I'm simply working for Krishna. Yeah. Full Krishna consciousness. And all this is Krishna's mercy. Yeah. Okay. Shall we begin our reading then? Krishna's hiding from the gopis. Yeah. Okay, Jai Prakash, would you like to start us off, please?
When they saw that it was getting gradually darker, they stopped. Their mind and intelligence became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. They all imitated the activities of Krishna and his speeches. Due to their heart and soul being completely given to Krishna, they began to chant his glories, completely forgetting their family interest. In this way, all the gopis returned to the bank of Yamuna and assembled there. Expecting that Krishna must return to them, they simply engage in chanting the glories of Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 13th chapter of Krishna. Krishna's hiding from the gopis.
Right, so what's important here, I feel, is that even though Krishna has left the gopis, in a sense, the gopis haven't left Krishna, isn't it? Krishna has left the gopis, but the gopis are still very much feeling with Krishna. Yeah, they're with Krishna, even though Krishna is not with them in a sense. They're with Krishna in separation. They're chanting Krishna's names, isn't it? So they're actually with Krishna because they're with his names. And they're in his abode, they're in Vrindavan. Yeah. So this is the mood of the pure devotee, that with or without Krishna, they're always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. As it says here, their mind and intelligence became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Yeah. And they were chanting and remembering Krishna's activities. So when Krishna is with them, they're focused on serving Krishna. Then when Krishna leaves them, their desire to serve Krishna increases more. And when Krishna joins them again, they serve with that new, renewed enthusiasm. And it goes on and it goes up and it goes on and it goes up. It spirals upwards only. Everything in the material world it spirals down, right? You get something new, you're excited, then it breaks, you have to repair it, to spend money. It's not as good as it first was. Now it's cost more than it was before. It doesn't do what it was supposed to do. You just have to make do best with it you can. You know, that's material world. Tendency in material world is things go down. In spiritual world, things just go up and up and up and up. Relationships, they go up and up and up with Krishna. So Krishna is doing this not out of spite or out of, not out of neglect, although it seems that way. Because we have material vision and we have material experiences, then our problem is we project our understanding, our materialistic understanding on the spiritual world. Yeah? But actually it's a different experience. When they're with Krishna, they're happy. When they're not with Krishna, they're even more happy. You can't understand it. Their separation from Krishna is more intense than being with Krishna. And again, they reunite with Krishna and happy again. Otherwise, why, when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, yeah, at the end of these pastimes, Akrura comes to collect Krishna to take him to Mathura so that he can save his parents from the prison of King Kamsa, right? So when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, why don't the gopis all go with him? They're so attached to him. They don't go with him. They see him right until the boundary of Vrindavan, but they never leave Vrindavan. Yeah? They're in separation of Krishna their whole lives. They never leave Vrindavan. They don't go with him to Mathura, no. Because they're experiencing as much joy being without Krishna as they are with Krishna. More without Krishna. There's so much that Krishna consciousness, that remembrance of Krishna increases. So the pain that they feel in their heart is more intense. And it's not material pain, it's a spiritual pain. Yeah? And we know everything in the spiritual world is a reverse of everything in the material world. So the spiritual pain is actually higher ecstasy than the spiritual happiness. Therefore, the gopis are the greatest devotees. Because no one experiences that spiritual pain, that heartache, as much as the gopis. So we'll read more about that in the later chapters too. So this is the thing, that they're always dependent on Krishna, whether he's there for them or whether he's not there for them. They're always dependent on him. Okay. And so, Jai Prakash Prabhu, if you could take us into the next chapter, please.
Chapter 31, Songs by the Gopis. One gopi said, "My dear Krishna, ever since you took your birth in this land of Brajabhumi, everything appears to be glorious. The land of Vrindavan has become glorious, and it is as if the goddess of fortune is personally always existing here. But it is only we who are very unhappy because we are searching for you but cannot see you. with our greatest effort. Our life is completely dependent upon you. Therefore, we request that you again come to us.
So this is a new chapter. It's translated as Songs by the Gopis. Yeah. Has anyone heard of this chapter before? This chapter is very famously known as the Gopi Geet.
Gopi Geet, yeah, that rings a bell. Gopi Geet. I think my Guru Dev wrote a little book on that. It's a really pretty pink book. Yeah.
All right. Okay. What's the name of the book? Is it called Gopi Geet?
Yeah, it's called Gopi Geet. I can get it. I can get it if you want to see. It's really beautiful. Hold
Yeah,
on
please.
just a moment.
I'd love to see it. So these prayers are very famous. The Gopi Geet prayers. Look at that. Wow.
It's really pretty.
Nice cover as well.
Yeah. Yes, look.
There's Krishna hiding behind the tree.
Yeah. Apparently it's very confidential, so I've just kind of kept it, but it's really beautiful. So
Wow.
yeah.
Lovely. So yeah, this is what we're going to be reading now in this chapter, the Gopi Geet. Okay. All right, Jai Prakash Prabhu.
Another Gopi said, "My dear Krishna, you are the life and soul, even of the lotus flower that grows on the water of lakes made transparent by the clear rains of autumn. Although the lotus flowers are so beautiful, without your glance they fade away. Similarly, without you, we are also dying. Actually, we are not your wives, but your slaves. You never spend any money for us, yet we are simply attracted by your glance. Now, if we die without receiving your glance, you'll be responsible for our deaths. Certainly, the killing of women is a great sin. And if you do not come to see us and we die, you will suffer the reactions of sin. So please come see us. Do not think that one can be killed only by certain weapons. We are being killed by your absence. You should consider how you are responsible for killing women. We are always grateful to you because you have protected us many times from the poisonous water of Yamuna, from the serpent Kalia, from Bakasura, from the anger of Indra and his torrents of rain, from the forest fire and so many other incidents. You are the greatest and most powerful of all. It is wonderful for you to protect us from many dangers, but we are surprised that you are neglecting us at this moment.
Wow. It's a very heavy, heart-wrenching prayer, as you can see on the Gopis. What are your thoughts on this paragraph, everyone?
I have a couple of things. Can I say a few things?
Yeah.
Maybe. First of all, it's a question that it said that Krishna actually never ever left Vrindavan. So did he always stay back? And what Akrura actually saw him under the water. Akrura saw the other form of Krishna. So Krishna never really, so Vrindavan, Krishna always lived in Vrindavan. So that's the first thing I just wanted to ask. And secondly, I attended a Bengali class session just a while ago on the gopis, and there was I don't know if it actually exists in Sanskrit or in Hindi, and if you would understand. So the teacher, Prabhuji, actually made the differentiation between the two words. One is viraha, Viraha, and viched. So does that exist in? Are these two Sanskrit words and can be understood? I can understand because it's also Bengali words. We just make the V into V, but so
Prabhuji explained the difference between viraha. What the gopis feel is viraha and never ever vichet, because it is usually people always say, oh, Radharani never came together with Krishna. There's the separation of Radharani from Krishna, the separation of the gopis from Krishna. And so there is always a sadness. But actually that is the material way of looking at, that is the false way of looking at it, and not deeply looking into what it is, because what the gopis feel is viraha, which means there is separation, but oneness in that separation. And also the promise that there might be a slight separation in terms of physically not being able to see Krishna for a while, but in their hearts, they're always together. And also there is the promise that can never be separated from the gopis. So that is the viraha. And so there is the happiness even in separation, because there is the anticipation of being one, of always being one, but also physically being one again very, very soon. Whereas if you talk about viched, that is when Krishna leaves somebody and never returns. And that is the final separation, where there is no oneness, there is no promise of oneness, and there is no promise of reconciliation ever in the future. So with the gopis, although people talk about separation, it's actually viraha and never viched.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes sense or not. So that's something but these are two Bengali words. I have no idea if actually they exist in Hindi. They probably do, or if they're Sanskrit words or not.
Yeah, I can't really comment on that. I don't know. Can anyone else comment on that? Does anyone know?
Yeah, the only the viraha, definitely I know that means the separation. Which I have not heard before.
But the separation, and then there's the anticipation of the oneness again. So it's never final separation. That's what I understood, but I could be completely wrong. But that's what I understood from the teaching.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't comment on that. Sorry, I don't know. Krishna does meet with the gopis again, though. That's called Rath Yatra.
Yeah.
So he doesn't lie when he says, I won't meet you again. He does meet them again. They pull him back to Vrindavan, and that's called Rath Yatra. So coming back to this paragraph now. So the gopis are starting by making a comparison, a comparative analogy between themselves and the beautiful lotus flowers. Yeah, they're saying when the lotus flowers are not given the sunshine, then they fade away. Similarly, they're dying without Krishna. Yeah, we're talking about how they're experiencing this death. They're saying, you know, we've never asked anything from you. We just want your attractive glances. That's all. Yeah. So the sunshine doesn't profit from the flowers. Yeah, just simply the glance of the sun keeps the flowers alive. There's no profit for the sun in maintaining the flowers, isn't it? Yeah. And similarly, there's no profit for Krishna in maintaining the gopis. That's what they're saying. So, but Krishna is supposed to be he's supposed to be the protector of the devotees. Yeah, he's supposed to protect the devotees. Paritranaya sadhanam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So the gopis are saying, you saved everyone else from their various problems. Why can't you save us from death? Our life is seeing you, and our death is not seeing you. So when we're not seeing you, we're dying. So come and save us by showing yourself to us. Okay. Anyone else have any reflections on this?
Haribol, yeah, I thought it was quite interesting what Panchali said about like you can deal with the separation if you know that there's going to be reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think like what stood out to me in this chapter is like the gopis, it's a very high spiritual mood, so it's nothing like a material conception, but it's quite manipulative what they're saying. Their song, you know, they're really trying to tease him into coming back. Which is I think it's something that I'm trying to learn to understand, but it's like with Krishna Prem, Krishna actually sort of becomes privy to your wishes as a pure devotee. If you are a pure devotee, then he sort of he abides by your wishes, which is a funny concept that you can control God through your love. Essentially, it's a really weird concept, but it's a very high mood that I'm trying to get my head around. Yeah.
That's right, yeah. That's a common feature in all the pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam. How Krishna is controlled by the love of his devotees, isn't it? You see? Krishna is known as Ajita, which means unconquerable. Yeah? Ajita means unconquerable.
Ajita.
But we see time and time again in the Bhagavatam, if not anywhere else, we see it in the Bhagavatam alone, that Krishna is always controlled by his devotees, isn't it? Even in the Bhagavad Gita itself, because Arjuna, he's conquered Krishna. Krishna has become his taxi man, his chariot driver, right? And to have a chariot driver, to control a chariot driver, you have to kick the driver. You know, you're sitting on the seat and you're fighting, you're shooting arrows with your bow, so your hands are occupied. So how do you direct the driver? You have to use your feet. Yeah. So Krishna takes on that position for his devotee Arjuna. So this is how Krishna is conquered by love. And that's actually Krishna's pleasure. That's actually his pleasure. He actually has pleasure when he's controlled by his devotees. Yeah. So Krishna is giving the gopis an opportunity now to conquer him again. Okay. Was there no another devotee who was willing to read? Oh yeah. Okay. So you, Prabhupada.
Yeah, I'm happy to read. Yeah. Dear Krishna, dear friend, we know very well that you are not actually the son of Mother Yashoda or the cowherd man Nanda Maharaj. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supersoul of all living entities. You have, out of your own causeless mercy, appeared in this world, requested by Lord Brahma for the protection of the world. It is by your kindness only that you have appeared in the dynasty of Yadu. O best in the dynasty of Yadu, if anyone afraid of this materialistic way of life takes shelter at your lotus feet, you never deny him protection. Your movements are sweet, and you are independent, touching the goddess of fortune with one hand and in the other bearing a lotus flower. That is your extraordinary feature. Please, therefore, come before us and bless us with the lotus flower in your hand. Dear Krishna, you are the killer of all the fears of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. You are the supremely powerful hero, and we know that you can kill the unnecessary pride of your devotees. as well as the pride of women like us, simply by your beautiful smile. We are simply your maidservants and slaves. Please, therefore, accept us by showing us your beautiful lotus-like face.
Thanks. Okay, so in these 2 paragraphs, what points stood out for you all?
So the gopis are saying they know that he is the supreme personality of Godhead.
That's right. So they know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He's not actually connected with the Yadu family at all. He just chose the Yadu family to make his appearance. He could have appeared in any family. He appeared in the Yadu family. So yeah. Anything else? There's one more point here, which is made about Krishna holding the lotus flower and being with the goddess of fortune, Radharani. So, Hare Krishna Divyanam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, my obeisances are close to Srila Prabhupada.
And just give us one moment.
Sure, Prabhu, no problem.
Yeah. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains this in more detail, that when Srimati Radharani was alone with Krishna, Krishna being so enchanted by her, actually, he was carrying a lotus flower in one hand and he was with her in the other hand. And he was protecting her face from the bees that were attracted to her beauty. She looked like a beautiful flower herself, a beautiful effulgent golden flower. And so the bees were coming towards her, being attracted by her face. You know, in the dark of the night, her face, her features were very effulgent. And so Krishna was holding this lotus flower, as he explains, and protecting her face from these bees. And so therefore the gopis are remembering this. And they're saying how this is your extraordinary feature. So please therefore come and bless us with this flower, with this lotus flower in your hand. You see? So this is the meditation that they're having. Okay. So I'd just like to stop here for a moment and stop the recording as well.